Hi guys, welcome back to another week of Game Things. I'm your host for the week, Ming, and this week we only have one major news to cover, and it's on the Gotham Knights title. So just a heads up for those of you that have previously played the Arkham series featuring Batman, this title is not a sequel to that series, but a separate game entirely. It doesn't even take place in the same universe, so be sure to take note of that. Anyways, Gotham Knights will be an action RPG game that will be available on PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X on the 25th of October 2022. The game was initially set to be released on PS4 and Xbox One as well, but the devs have decided to scrap that idea. In any case, this game will be a looter-based type of game taking inspiration from Square Enix's Avengers game. Because it's a looter-based type of game, there are various mods and costumes that can be unlocked for players to change up their playstyle to one that suits them the best. That's basically the general idea of the game. Now, let's get on to the recently released gameplay footage. The gameplay footage featured two of the playable characters, Red Hood and Nightwing. Nightwing is a more melee-based character that incorporates a lot of acrobatic skills in his combat style, which effectively just makes him flip around the combat area a lot more. Perhaps even a little too much than he's supposed to. Red Hood, on the other hand, based on the trailer, is mainly a ranged character that just shoots at his enemies with his gun. Rather disappointing honestly, as I really thought that they would showcase a bit more hand-to-hand combat for Red Hood, instead of just showing him shooting around his damn gun. That's pretty much it for combat. For map traversal, players will have the ability to use quick travel, or if players want to explore the city more, they can use the bat cycle or just glide across the air using each character's special method of travel. For example, Nightwing uses a glider to glide across the air, while Red Hood uses magic to just leap across the air. For the other two playable characters, Batgirl and Robin, no info has been shown at this point of time yet, but we at GameThings will definitely cover the other two characters when more info is announced, so be sure to subscribe and follow our socials to stay updated. That's basically it for our segment on Gotham Knights. If you wish to find out more about the game, I highly suggest watching the trailer, and after watching the trailer, if you're interested in pre-ordering the game, you can pre-order the game now and get a custom Batcycle skin as a pre-order bonus. And that wraps up this week's major news segment. Now let's move on to our flash news segment, starting off with a brand new Dead Space remake that was just announced. This new Dead Space remake will be released on the 27th of January 2023, and this new remake will feature a brand new system called the Alive system that effectively affects the way Isaac talks and breathes based on his current physical and mental state. To put it simply, it's where if Isaac is completely normal, physically and mentally, his dialogue will be completely normal. But if Isaac is in a fatigued state and has an elevated heart rate, his dialogue will become faster and he will be constantly gasping for air. This, in my opinion, is a pretty cool system, and I'm definitely excited to try out the game when it's released next year. Anyways, the next piece of flash news we have is on FIFA. EA, starting from next year, will officially change all their yearly FIFA titles to EA Sports FC, as they are no longer partnered with the FIFA organization. So this year will potentially be the last year we are getting a FIFA 2023. And starting from next year, we will no longer be seeing any more football games that are titled FIFA from EA. The third piece of flash news we have for you guys this week is on Pokemon, specifically Pokemon Home. Pokemon Home will finally be getting an update to support Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, as well as Pokemon Legends Arceus. For context, Pokemon Home is a storage software released by Pokemon for players to transfer their collection of Pokemon from various games that are supported and store it in Pokemon Home. Now, this is a long-awaited update as it's been around half a year since Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was first released. At this point, we still don't have a specific date as to when the update will be released, but at the very least we know that it's coming in the next few weeks, which is definitely great news for all you Pokemon collectors that can finally transfer your collection into Pokemon Home. The fourth piece of flash news we have for this week is on Apex Legends Mobile. Apex Legends Mobile that is releasing this week will come with a roster of 10 characters, and one of those characters will be a brand new legend called Fade. Fade's abilities are as such. Fade's passive is a movement speed boost while sliding, and his tactical is a get out of jail free card, which is basically Tracer's Q from Overwatch, where you can rewind time for yourself and teleport back to a location that you were at a few seconds ago. Finally, Fade's ultimate is a throwable rift that turns everyone hit into a rift status. To put it simply, it's Wraith's tactical ability but for everyone hit by the throwable. While this ability might seem a bit weird on paper as you don't really know how to use it, but honestly I think it's a pretty good ability, as like it's kind of a get out of jail free card if you're in a bad spot and you can just get your entire team out of there. It's basically Gibraltar's tactical but kind of better. And yeah, that's basically it for Fade's kit. Anyways, the 9 other legends joining the roster include Bloodhound, Lifeline, Caustic, Mirage, Wraith, Bangalore, Pathfinder, Gibraltar, as well as Octane. So for all of you guys out there that just can't get enough Apex in their lives, maybe you can check out the mobile version and give it a shot. The fifth piece of flash news we have is on another mobile game, but this time it's a MMO called Ni no Kuni Crossworld. The game will be released on 25th of May, and like its name suggests, it will be a title related to the Ni no Kuni series. And if you pre-register for the title now, you will get an outfit called the Explorer's outfit when the game is released. Visually, the game looks great, and gameplay wise there's various classes with different abilities for players to try out. If you like the Ni no Kuni series or would just like to play an MMO on mobile, maybe give the game a shot. The last and final piece of flash news we have for you guys today is on Fall Guys. Great news guys, as Fall Guys is going to be free to play starting on the 21st of June 2022. On top of that, the game will also be released on Switch as well as Xbox console, and have a PS5 version as well as an Epic game release for PC, so a lot of releases. Now, for all you guys that already own the game, don't worry, as you guys will be getting some legacy cosmetics including 3 outfits, a title, as well as a nameplate for you to use as bragging rights. Overall, this is great news as Fall Guys is a fun time for everyone to enjoy, and now with the game being free, if you have never tried it before, it's definitely worth a shot to have some fun and mess around with your friends, as it's overall just a very great game. Anyway, that's all of the flash news we have for this week. Now let's move on to our next segment on game delays. For this week we have 3 delays, and the first one is on 2 titles that Bethesda is working on, called Starfield as well as Redfall. Both of these titles have been delayed to 2023 with no specific release date at this point of time. The second delay we have for this week is on Dying Light 2's first story DLC, which has been delayed to September from its initial release of June. However, the photo mode from the DLC will still be released in June despite the fact that the story DLC will be delayed. The last and final piece of delay is on Kerbal Space Program 2, which has now been once again pushed back to 2023, making this the game's 3rd delay, which is rather unfortunate for players that are excited and awaiting this game's release. That basically marks the end of our segment on game delays. Now let's move on to our next segment featuring some hyped up games that are being released this week. The first title of this segment is Umurangi Generation Special Edition, which was previously only available on PC and Switch. Now, it will also be available on Xbox Series S and X as well as Xbox One. The game is a first-person photography game where you go around the city taking trippy pictures to complete objectives and earn money. The game has some pretty interesting soundtracks, and the game can be rather trippy as the player can edit the photos taken to make it look much more different compared to the original. Overall, it's a unique photography game that players can enjoy, and plus, if you're into the genre, you will most definitely like this game. Not you might, you will definitely like this game a lot. The next hyped up title we have for you guys this week is Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, which is a RPG where you play as 3 different vampires with various abilities and traits to complete your orders given to you by the prince. On top of that, you will also remove traitors that are threatening the peace of the city. The game has various puzzles to solve, and players can tackle these puzzles by using abilities like hypnotism or by transforming into other characters to gain more info. While the premise of the game is interesting, the gameplay footage revealed so far is a bit lackluster as the graphics shown aren't as great as most other AAA titles available at the moment. But if you don't mind the graphic too much, this game will be worth a shot, and it is currently available on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, as well as PC. The last and final title we have releasing this week is called Dolmen, a Souls-like sci-fi game where you, as the player, fight against alien creatures using high-tech gear with different elemental abilities. These elemental abilities can be used to enchant your melee weapon for melee combat, or if you prefer ranged combat, you can use your gun to shoot out elemental shots. However, these elemental abilities cannot be spammed as there is a mana bar and energy bar that players will have to manage. Visually, the game looks alright, but one thing to take note of is that the costumes and weapons look very cool and kinda remind me of the game Warframe. So maybe if you're into sci-fi and cool designs, you might want to check out this game. Of course, if you just want to quench your thirst of Souls-like game after completing Elden Ring, then this game will be right up your alley. The game is currently available on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, and PC. That's basically it for all the featured releases we have this week. Now let's move on to our most anticipated segment, Free Things. For this week, Epic Games will be giving out a free game on the 20th of May. As of the time of recording, we do not know what title is being given out for free, but by the time the podcast and YouTube video is uploaded, we will already know what title has been released, and we will include the title on our video as well as in our podcast description. But in any case, make sure to check out and claim the free game on Epic Store while it's available. That's basically all we have for this week. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and make sure to subscribe to our channel and comment down below on what other content you would like us to cover in the future. With that in mind, thanks so much guys. See you next week folks for our next episode of Game Things.